Hello, I've got elevators now, which is good because that's a key feature of the map. As a result of doing this, I've had to rejig quite a lot of stuff, including the way navigation works. I'll just show the elevators in action. So you can still select units and move them about. If you then now tell a unit to move to a different floor, say this one, oh let's try up here actually, then the unit will call the elevator, get on the elevator, and then disembark at the top. There's a few glitches with this that I'll fix sort of at a later date, but I just wanted to get the general idea of elevators working. I'm not too pleased about the way the controls currently work. So I'd like you to be able to actually tell the elevator to go to a specific floor without having to get off the elevator. I think that's quite important if your units are, say, worried about what's on that floor. You don't just want them to get down there and suddenly just leap out. So yeah, so that's elevators at the moment. The reason I had to rejig the navigation is because, of course, I'd based it all off of static surfaces, and elevators are a bit different because you need to have, as part of the pathfinding, or rather the path following, you need the ability for units to call the elevator. I didn't want the player to have to micromanage the calling of the elevator. I want the player to be able to say, I want this unit on the elevator, and as a result, the unit, say this one down here, will actually call the elevator. I think the way it's going to work is you select a unit, and then you'd basically click on the elevator shaft, an icon will appear to suggest that you're, when you right click, it will actually put the unit onto the elevator, and then as a result of that, the unit will call the elevator. So the way it works now is that pathfinding using a star will select your start position and your target position, and it will return a set of these nodes. So it will be this one, this one. Then the elevator itself actually is treated as a node, and then finally this one, and then your end position. And what happens with that list of nodes is that it then generates a stack of tasks. So one of the tasks is just to move to a location, which is like a simple enough task for the unit to perform. But then I've got another task which is to step onto an elevator, and the unit knows that to step onto an elevator, the elevator must be at that floor. And if it isn't, the unit will check stuff. Like first it will see, is the unit already coming to the floor, in which case it will wait until it's arrived. Otherwise it will call the elevator and then wait until it's arrived. It constantly has to do checks though to, like for example, when it does start stepping onto the elevator, it has to keep checking to see whether the elevator, if the elevator's left again, which I'm not sure how it could do unless the unit's been held up maybe somehow, the unit might have to call the elevator again. There's a whole bunch of stuff with AI that has to be sort of figured out later, especially with sort of group behaviors. Like if you select a bunch of units and tell them to get on the elevator, you kind of want them to hold the elevator for the other units. So there's a bunch of stuff like that which might be kind of tricky, but I'm going to leave that till later. At the moment, sort of got other things to try and look at. I've changed doors, so doors now sit directly on top of a node, associate directly with one of these nodes, and that's so that if I make like a prefab of a room, I can stick two of them together and have them share the same door and node. And I think that's about it. The other thing that I've been quickly working on is trying to figure out how to implement enemies and line of sight. So I was going to make the map sort of grid based. So here I've got like a red, this is a red enemy. At the moment it just sits there, doesn't do anything. At the moment the line of sight test, which you can see down here, it says can see in the console, is running every frame. And rather than doing some sort of grid-based field of view algorithm, which is what I was planning, it's just a simple line of sight test. So if this unit gets on the elevator and travels up to this floor, you can see it now says can't see. And while it's a bit inefficient to be doing a sort of line intersection test every frame, especially if there's lots of enemies, probably won't be able to afford to actually every frame be doing tests from every unit to every enemy. and vice versa. I could probably just do the test every half a second or so, which will kind of mess up reaction time a little bit, or maybe that is the reaction time. And if an enemy darts across a corridor, it means a unit might not see it. So there's things to think about there. But I think the easiest thing to do at this point is just to use the 2D physics system and actually do line of sight tests as just line intersection, line casts, and see how that goes. So next video, hopefully videos will get slightly more interesting as features are added. Oh, this little walkway here, I don't think I mentioned this, did I? In order to be able to get from left to right, but also support up and down, because this game is using a kind of ant farm view side on, I need the ability to be able to walk across even if the elevator isn't there. So I've had to try and work out how this could be possible, and this is the best thing, which I'm not don't really like that much, but the best thing I could think of is that there's a walkway kind of in front of the lift that you can walk across, and to get on the lift and go down you actually have to climb up to get onto and wait and then get on the platform here. Something like that, because the ability you can still go cross from left to right when the elevator is on another floor. Because otherwise it's a bit weird, isn't it? You can't actually get across part of the map because the elevator isn't there, and all you do is get on the elevator and get out the other door. Seems a bit weird. The other option is that elevators can only be on the leftmost or rightmost of the map, and I didn't really like that idea, so sort of done it like this. You can see like some floors you can get away with just having an exit to the right. Probably might add doors as well to the the option of doors to the elevators as well. But for now, that's the video. Thank you for watching.